Good morning. Learning the Daf Yomi a page ahead, so we're learning page 41. The name of the chapter is Tractate Eruvin, the third chapter, and we'll start from Tanya. Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Pamach Rabbi Akiva. One time we were sitting before Rabbi Akiva. Tisha B'av Shechaz B'erev Shabbos Haya. It was Tisha B'av that fell on Friday afternoon. It was Tisha B'av which had fallen on Friday. And they brought to Rabbi Akiva a lightly roasted egg, and he swallowed it without salt. Not because he was hungry for it, but he wanted to demonstrate to his student the law. Rabbi Menashe said one should fast and complete his fast until nightfall, even when Tisha B'av occurs on Friday. So, according to this Baisa, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi dispute whether or not a fast must be completed on Friday. The Gemara quotes the conclusion of the Baisa. Amar lan Rabbi Yossi, do you not admit to me Tisha B'av shechal b'erev Shabbat, Tisha B'av that falls on Friday, shemafsik mi'b'od yom, that one must stop eating while it is still day, before the end of Shabbos. Amar la'aval, what does it matter to me if one entered the Shabbos while suffering from fasting? What's the big deal? So he entered Shabbos while he was fasting. And what does it matter to me if one departs from the Shabbos while suffering? In either case, some fasting necessarily occurs on Shabbos. If you permit the fast to begin on the Shabbos by completing the last meal slightly before sunset, when Tisha B'av falls on Sunday, you should also permit it to be completed on the Shabbos until nightfall, when Tisha B'av falls on Friday. If you say to depart from the Shabbos while fasting is permitted, because he ate and drank the entire day, the short while that he abstains from food at the end of the Shabbos does not adversely affect him. However, would you say to enter the Shabbos while suffering from hunger is permitted? Of course not, since he did not eat or drink the entire day on Friday. After a day-long fast, even a short period of abstention aggravates one's hunger and detracts from the spirit of Shabbos, takes away from the spirit of Shabbos. Ula said the halacha is like the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, who maintained that a fast must be continued until nightfall, even on Friday. I don't remember fasting on Friday.
Like the serve tables.
I don't remember.
It happened the 10th day of.
When did it happen?
It happened a lot. I remember breaking the fast.
I don't remember breaking the fast by Kiddush.
I did it. We did it. You've done it. You have done it.
Breaking the fast Kiddush?
You've done
on Friday night?
You've done it. It's fallen out on Friday a few times in my time since I became. I remember doing it. I don't know if I did it when I was here. The 10th of Tavis can fall out on Friday. They say that fast is so severe that if it would fall out on Shabbos, we'd have to fast on Shabbos.
I don't remember.
You can look it up.
Do we act according to the opinion of Rabbi Yossi or Mini? But it is contradicted by the following Mishnah. And Goizim Tain Salat Sibu, based in should not decree a fast on the community. Days on Chanukah and Purim, if they commenced a series of fast days which ran into Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah or Purim, ein mafsikim, we do not interrupt their series, but fast even on these days. Div Rabban Gamliel, Omar Rabbi Meir, Afal Pishe, Omar Rabban Gamliel, even though Ben Gamliel said, Ein mafsikim, we do not interrupt the series of fast days, we concede that we do not complete the fast on Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, and Purim. And likewise, when Tisha B'Av falls on Friday, the fast is not completed. The Mishnah rules that even public fast day may not be completed on Friday. The Gemara adduces support from a Brisa which elaborates on the Mishnah. After the passing of Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Yeshua entered the study hall to invalidate Rabbi Gamliel's opinion and rule that a fast should be completed even on Friday. Rabbi Yochanan stood up and said, I see that it is appropriate that the body should follow the head. We should follow the opinion of Rabbi Gamliel and the previous generation who were greater than us. All the days of Rabbi Gamliel, we established the halacha according to his opinion. Now you're attempting to invalidate his ruling. Yeshua in Shem Lecha Yeshua, we will not listen to you. Halacha was already established as Rabbi Gamliel, and no one stood up to contradict it, to challenge it. No one objected to it, and therefore it should stay that way. But in the generation of Gamliel, they followed Rabbi Gamliel. In the generation of Rabbi Yossi, they did the practices of Rabbi Yossi. They continued the fast of Shabbos. I was a descendant from the tribe of Binyamin, whose family celebrates the 10th. So, sorry for that interruption. So we have, in the generation of Rabbi Gamliel, they followed Rabbi Gamliel. In the generation of Rabbi Yossi, they followed Rabbi Yossi. The Gemara asks the question, is it really so that in the generation of Rabbi Gamliel, they followed Rabbi Gamliel? It was taught in a Brisa. There was one time Tisha B'Av fell on Shabbos, and we postponed it until after Shabbos. And we fasted on this day, but we did not complete the fast because the 10th of Av is our family holiday. Time of the Yom Tov, Erev Yom Tov Mashlimim. So the reason that they did not complete the fast is because that day was the Yom Tov. However, on the day before the Yom Tov, in other years, when the fast fell on the 9th day of Av, Mashlimin, they would complete the fast even though they would begin the holiday on the 10th of Av while fasting. A rabbinically ordained holiday such as the 10th of Av is different from the Shabbos. Since people, by the way, what happened with the tribe of Binyamin that they made this holiday on the 10th of Av? It's interesting to see what exactly was their story, why they made it a holiday. I think it was the day where, usually it says that on one of the things that happened on Tu B'Av, they allowed the tribe of Binyamin to remarry, or to marry with the other tribes. There was a time that they said that they are excommunicated,
right,
and they did not marry each other, and only after Tu B'Av. So, but interesting what 10th of Av, it might be associated with that too. In any case, it was their Yom Tov. The Gemara says, however, on the day before Yom Tov, in other years, when the fast fell on the 9th day of Av, Mashlimim, they would complete the fast even though they would begin their holiday on the 10th of Av while fasting. So they would, Mashlimim, they would they'll pay back, so to speak. If they didn't complete the fast, they would fast another time. Rabbinically ordained holiday is different. Since people may fast on it for limited hours of the day, Mashlim v'avios, they may also complete a fast on the eve of the holiday, even though this involves fasting at the onset of the holiday until nightfall. It is not more severe than fasting for a different hour of the day, which is permitted. Shabbos, however, regarding the Shabbos, since people may not fast on Shabbos even for limited hours of the day, they may also not complete a fast on the eve of the Shabbos. Since completing the fast involves fasting at the onset of the Shabbos until nightfall, it is prohibited just as fasting for a different hour of the Shabbos day, just as fasting for a different hour of the Shabbos day is prohibited. It says in 25, therefore even Rabban Gamliel would have allowed Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok to complete the fast of Tisha B'Av on the eve of his holiday, since it was a lesser holiday. However, in Rabban Gamliel's generation, it was customary not to complete a fast on Friday because one may not fast even briefly on Shabbat. You should not fast on Shabbat. Now this year it's actually a question because you'll have many that their custom is not to eat till after Tkis. Comes to Rosh Hashanah. So pretty much fasting on until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So now that it falls on Shabbos, still keep up with their minhag or not. Understand?
Well, since you're not, I thought if you're not blowing the shofar, then therefore you don't have, that doesn't apply. But that's my own logic.
No. Till you hear the shofar.
That's Sunday.
Yeah, but you're saying it because you're not even, there's no shofar, so it shouldn't be.
Anyway, I have a guy coming at 9:15 to blow the shofar because you have an early minyan.
Oh, wonderful.
So.
But he's going to do 30 koilos or 9?
Probably 30.
Okay.
And he's going to do it in between the two buildings.
I hope the liberals won't call the police on him.
No.
Wakes up the neighbors.
The majority of people there are Jewish and from.
Amar Yosef lo shimei li har shemaita. I had not heard the statement that Ula established the halacha according to Rabbi Yosef's opinion. Amar le Abaye said to me, At omatni alan, you told it to us. Ve'aha omatni alan, and regarding this Mishnah, you told it to us. Ein goizum tain salatziv Rosh Chodashim, Beis Din should not decree a fast day on the community on Rosh Chodesh days. On our law, and we commented on that Mishnah. This is the opinion of Rabbi Meir, who says the name of Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Meir's statement in the Mishnah that Rabbi Gamliel agrees that a public fast is not completed on Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, Purim, and Friday, is not universally accepted as halacha. It is only the opinion of Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Gamliel. Aval the sages say that one fasts and completes the fast. My lava kulu, is it not that the sages disputed Rabbi Meir's entire statement, and they rule that even on Friday a fast day may be completed? If so, our statement would confirm that the halacha follows Rabbi Yosef's ruling, since the halacha usually accords with the majority opinion. The Gemara asserts that Rav's statement does not prove that the halacha follows Rabbi Yosef. The Gemara says, Loi, the sages did not disagree with Rabbi Meir's entire statement. At Chanukah Purim, they dispute Rabbi Meir only regarding Chanukah and Purim. The sages allowed public fast days to be completed only on minor festivals such as Chanukah and Purim. However, since the prohibition against fasting on the Shabbos is much more severe, they concede that a fast day may not be completed on Friday. The Gemara says, this fact is more likely explanation of Rav's statement. Going into page 41b1, we're going to finish this chapter. If it enters your mind that Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav that the sages disagreed with Rabbi Meir's entire statement, and they ruled that even on Friday a fast day may be completed. But Rabba inquired of Rabbi Yehuda whether a fast is completed on Friday. And Rabbi Yehuda did not resolve the issue for him. If you're allowed to complete your fast on Friday or not. He didn't answer him. Rabbi Yehuda maintained that the sages permitted the completion of a fast even on Friday. Why did he not respond to Rabba's question? And according to your reasoning, Mar Zutra expounded the name of Ravuna, and he said the halacha is that on Friday one may fast and complete the fast. Rabba inquired of Ravuna whether a fast may be completed on Friday. Ravuna did not resolve the issue for him. Here too, you should question why he was reluctant to answer Rabba. This incident in which Rav Huna was unaware of the law occurred before he heard Rav's statement. He didn't respond. And this ruling of Rav Huna permitting the completion of the fast on Friday occurred after he heard Rav's statement. Achanami, here too, Rav Yehuda, conflicting statements can be explained in a similar fashion. This incident in which Rav Yehuda was unaware of the law occurred before he heard Rav's statement. The statement of Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav permitting the completion of a fast on Friday occurred after he heard Rav's statement. So far we see a lot of them are permitting to complete a fast on Friday. So really you're entering Shabbos in a state of fasting, according to this. Therefore, Rav could have taught that the sages permit the completion of a fast on Friday. The Gemara concludes the discussion. Dorash Mar Zutra Mishmed Rav Huna. Mar Zutra expounded in the name of Rav Huna. Alocha misanin umashlimim. The halacha is that on Friday we may fast and complete the fast. It says in number 3, according to Tosfos, the Gemara here rules that completing the fast is optional. One may complete the fast but need not do so. However, Beis Yosef Chaim 249 cites Rekeach and Ravio. Rekeach and Ravio, who maintain that the Gemara requires that the fast be completed. Ritva contends that most straightforward interpretation of the Gemara supports this latter view, and the halacha is such that you need to complete the fast. We start in chapter 4, and the name of this chapter is Misha Hoitzi'u, and we're going to discuss Techum for the entire day. Daled Amis, an enclosed area, is the equivalent of 4 Amis, the Techum of objects.
This week it's going to fall out on Friday.
What would fall out on Friday?
10th of Tavis.
Okay. And you'll see that the fast will be either on Thursday or on will fall on Friday. Wow. It says the fast ends at 6:02.
Yeah, what time is candle lighting?
5:18.
So you're going to break the fast on Kiddush?
Yeah. I never remember doing it.
I remember it happened.
Breaking the fast in the Kiddush.
This is not the first time. That one is the most severe because it's the first.
So from here we see that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi.
That's the most severe one of these fasts, you know.
Right, that you.
Because it's the beginning is always the worst.
I guess it would never fall on Shabbos, though.
No, and if it did, I heard the rabbis used to tell me.
Yeah, it would still push off Shabbos.
You would still fast then.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst.
Push off Shabbos means.
Right. All right.
Okay. Hopefully Mashiach comes before we don't have to fast, right?
We should just fast on Yom Kippur.
So Mishu Tziu Nochim Uruach, one whom Gentiles removed from his tchum, or an evil spirit temporarily deranged him and caused him to leave his tchum. Became disoriented, whatever happened, he moved out of it, he got out of the tchum on Shabbos, out of his, let's call it the Shabbos perimeter, right? He left the Shabbos boundaries. So when he realized where he's at, wants to do the right thing, he only has 4 amas circumference to move around. If they return him to his tchum, if they brought him back, it's as if he never left. If they took him to another city, or they placed him in a fold or corral, which is beyond his tchum, he may move the entire enclosure in which he was placed, although he is now beyond his tchum, and the law therefore restricts his movement to 4 amas. The entire enclosed area is treated as the equivalent of 4 amas. Rabbi Menashe Amitay, Ma'aser shebo miplan darsin. It once happened that the 4 Tanaim who came from Plandarsin, a name of a place. It was a modern day, the Roman port in southern Italy. So they came from this port, and the ship moved out to sea, to a point 2,000 amas from the port. And Rabbi Menashe, they moved about the entire ship, consistent with the view that one who is forcibly removed from his tchum boundary on the Shabbos and placed within a walled area may travel throughout that enclosure. Now, since the ship had sides, they were within an enclosure. Rabbi Shua and Rabbi Akiva did not move because they wanted to be stringent on themselves, and therefore they did not leave. Once, on another occasion, the ship did not enter the port until it was already dark and the Shabbos had begun. Since a person's tchum is designated by his location when the Shabbos begins, they had to determine the spot where the ship had been when night fell. May we disembark and we get off the ship. Were we within the 2,000 amas of the port during the twilight period? I was already observing the shore, and we were within the tchum of the port before it became dark. The port is therefore within the area in which we may walk. So he told them, "Mutarim atem, you are permitted to walk. He permitted to disembark, to get off the boat. Why? Because they're already inside the tchum when it was dark. Tanu Rabbon Dvorim Avir Mesodom. 3 things cause a person to violate Al Daito, his own will, Valdas Keino, and the will of his creator. Elam Avdek Echov Ruachov Diktu Kanius. Idolaters who pressure Jews to transgress the Torah. Spirits which cause someone to become mentally deranged, and the exactions of poverty.
I never heard this word.
It's
stressing you out because you don't have
exactly.
money. I understand what it is.
So you have to count pennies, and
I know when you're like that, it makes you mishuga.
What is the point of this teaching? So that we know to pray for mercy concerning these. Gimel and Roim Pnei Gehenim. These 3 types of people do not see even the facade, or the face, the facade of Gehenna, because the pain and misery they suffer in this world atones for their sins. 3 people would not see Gehenna. Those who suffer the exactions of poverty, intestinal disorders, and the pursuit of creditors. And some say that you are off Gehenna if you have a bad wife. But the Gemara explains that why the first Tana does not count a bad wife among the suffering that save a person from Gehenna. The other opinion in the Bible hold that it is proper to divorce a bad wife. This type of suffering can therefore be avoided. Why then does the second Tana count it? And the other view, which counts a bad wife, answer that it is not always possible to divorce her. Sometimes the amount of money which he will have to pay her by the terms of her kesuba is too great for her husband to afford. So he sticks around because he's money issues. Yeah. Because of money, he stays married. It's too expensive for him to get divorced, so they figure out
cheaper to keep her.
Yeah. So that's the meaning ksubasa meruba. The ksuba is too much money. He made too much of a commitment when he.
Yeah, some people add on to the ksuba.
Right. So this guy added on, and now he's stuck with it. Yeah. With her.
Don't be such a wise guy.
I heard that one of the basketball players, so they made a prenup. So in the prenup, he made, if you married me, if you're staying married for 5 years, that would be your. If after 5 years you get divorced, you get this much. If you get divorced after 8 years, you're getting more and more. The more she stays, the more.
Yeah, Trump did the same thing with one of the one before this one.
Yeah, I'm sure with this one he also made some kind of an arrangement.
Yeah, but the first, it was very famous what he did, because he divorced her the day before it was going to kick in.
Anyhow, so because of the children, so he stays married because of the kids. And he's unable to divorce her. In these cases, since divorce is not an alternative, the man's suffering is unavoidable and therefore atones for his sins.
That could happen a lot.
So he takes the beating, right? What is the point of this teaching in the Kabbalah Ma'avo, to teach that to accept tribulations with love for heaven, for one who suffers does not do so in vain. His suffering atones for his sins and spares him from the pain of Gehenna. Three types of suffering may die suddenly, even while they are conversing. These are those suffering from stomach disorders, postnatal complications, and hydrokin. What's hydrokin? So it says in 19, a type of disease of the mouth which affects the stomach and causes a person a complexion to become discolored. Its modern definition is unclear. Elsewhere, Rashi explained that this is as an intestinal disease, or described hydrokin as a sickness whose prominent symptom is a swelling of the stomach.
I would think it would be like a liver disease, but that's just me. Because you get jaundice.
So the Gemara said, what's the point of all this? The mind of Kamina. What is the point of this teaching? To alert us to prepare shrouds for such people. It says the Bible is telling us that people in these conditions need to be mentally prepared for the possibility that they may die suddenly, and that it is appropriate for them to make their wills and repent. When shrouds are prepared, people become aware of the seriousness of the condition. Shmuel, if he left his tchum willingly, he has no more than 4 amas at his new location in which to move about. since he is now beyond his tchum. If he left his tchum willingly, he has only 4 amas, the circumference. He's stuck. What's a pshita? This ruling is obvious. For if even someone who has removed from his tchum by Gentiles only has 4 amas, how much more so when he left by himself? Is it necessary to point out that someone who left his tchum willingly in violation of the law is also subject to this same stringency? Say rather that the ruling was that if he returned to his tchum willingly after having been removed against his will, when he comes back, he has only 4 amas. The Mishnah said that he acts as if he never went out. He never left before. But according to this Brisa, the Gemara says, we just mentioned, that's what I just said. If he never left, if they brought him back. If the Goyim put him back, the Gentiles brought him back, it's as if he never left. But if he came back on his own, he was able to escape and came back on his own, he has only 4 amas to walk around once he reaches the tchum.
And he's back in the hood, he's going to do arba.
By himself.
Oh.
That's the distinction between what the Mishnah taught us and what the Brisa teaching.
If you bring him back, he can walk around.
Exactly. If he comes back, he's 4 amas.
Somehow he escapes and gets back to where his tchum, and once he's in the boundary, it's only 4 amas. That's kind of tough. All right. Let's go.
Rather said, Rabbi Nachman's ruling was he left his tchum willingly.
Oh, this is a different one.
And Gentiles returned them there. Maybe you should say that, not like the Mishnah, that he has only 4 amas, even if the Goyim brought him back. This too is superfluous, since the Mishnah states the Gentiles removed them and returned them to his original tchum. Kilu lo yotza is as if he had never left, and he regains the tchum. This implies that if they removed them and he returned them against his will, that he is treated as if he never left the tchum. But not if he left willingly. These two can be deduced from our Mishnah. When what then is Rav Nachman's teaching? The Gemara answers that while Rav Nachman's statement from Shmuel might be deduced from an accurate interpretation of our Mishnah, the Mishnah also lends itself to an alternative interpretation. Rav Nachman's intention was to warn against his erroneous interpretation by clearly stating the law. Now, the Tema, without Rav Nachman's statement, you might have said it's a Dodin Kisoni, that the Mishnah is teaching independent rulings, and that the second case is not a continuation of the first. According to this, the first ruling would be as follows. One whom Gentiles removed from his tchum, who returned to it willingly, and has no more than 4 amas in which to move about, because he returned in violation of the law. The Mishnah now states another ruling. But if he left the tchum willingly, and Gentiles returned him as if he did not, as if he never left Kamashman, Rav Nachman therefore made it clear to us that someone who leaves his tchum willingly does not regain the use of his original tchum, even if he is forcibly returned to it. That's what it comes. So it's not superfluous. It comes to teach us simply somebody left willingly, even though the Goyim, the Gentiles, brought him back unwillingly. He's not regaining back his tchum. He can only walk 4 amas. The Gemara now discusses a circumstance in which a person restricted to 4 amas may leave them. They inquired of Rabba, if the person removed from his tchum needed to relieve himself, what is the law? May he walk beyond the 4 amas to which the Mishnah restricted him, to find private area in which to relieve himself? Omar Lohem, Rabbi said to them, Godol kovod habrios, human dignity is so important that it supersedes a prohibition of the Torah, specifically the commandment not to deviate from the decrees of the sages. Since the tchum prohibitions are rabbinic, the person is permitted to leave the 4 amas area to reach a private area. Omer Nardoi, the sages of Nardo said, if he is a wise man, he re-enters his tchum while seeking a private area, and once he returned to his original tchum, legally, he has returned, he regains the use of the tchum. So what happened over here? The Gemara asked a question, if someone needed, back then they would have to walk far to go to the bathroom, right? So what do you do if you walk maybe beyond the tchum, right? If a person removed from the tchum, let's say Gentiles took him out, needed to relieve himself, what is the law? May he walk beyond the 4 amas? So Omar Lohem Godek. That's a very interesting statement. We have to remember that a lot of people forget this concept, and this is something that people have to internalize really, really good, especially before Rosh Hashanah. Godol Kvoid Haberis, human dignity is so important that supersedes a prohibition of the Torah. Get it?
Yeah.
Specifically, the commandment not to deviate from the decrees of the sages, that it overrides, supersedes human dignity. Since the tchum prohibition are rabbinic, the person is permitted to leave the 4 amma area to reach a private area. What does it teach us?
Teach it. If you gotta go, you should be able to go to
something much deeper. Think about the statement.
Okay, have everybody that's not so
human dignity.
You can't. You shouldn't like.
It's so important that supersede prohibition of the Torah.
You can't be crazy with halacha.
For example, you see somebody does a violation of Torah or violation of rabbinical decree, right?
Right.
And if you were to say something, you will. If you say something to him, especially in front of people, you will humiliate him.
Right.
Torah tells you, God, Rabbi said to them, human dignity is so important that it supersedes the prohibition of the Torah. Right. You have to be worried about his dignity more than you're worried about the loitase in the Torah. So Rabbi said.
I got a little story about that happened on Simchas Torah in my old shul. So we were doing Chakafis, and one of the old timers started to sing Hatikva, and the rabbi got upset, and he did something. He took anyway, and it was embarrassing. So the next day, maybe it was on Shem. Anyway, so the next day he publicly asked for Mechila, that he was sorry, that he should not have done that. That was,
What did he do?
They were singing, Hatikva. Chabad doesn't like Hatikva, so he got upset at it. But
Chabad likes the tikva. They don't like the when they sing the tikva to be a free people in our country. So we know that free means chofshim and mitzvahs, free from mitzvahs.
Well, anyway,
because the original idea of the Tzionim is that the Zionist movement was that if you live in Eretz Yisrael, you're pato. You don't have to.
Right. Yeah, I heard this. I know. I'm just saying that the situation arose that he did something that was embarrassing to this person.
Yeah, but over here it says that consideration of human dignity do not supersedes other Torah prohibitions. the Gemara states that if a person suddenly discovers that the garment he's wearing is shatnez, he should be taking it off, not walk with it, even though people will see his belly or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He should take it. So in this way, human dignity did not supersede.
I heard when somebody's taught. I mean, we would never do this in our.
I guess there's chilul Hashem and things like that.
Like somebody talking during Shemona Esrei, that's supposedly you could embarrass the person to stop him from doing that, but we would never do this. I mean, I saw I learned this, but I know we don't do this.
Amar na'adoi im pikeahu, if a person is wild out of tchum, if he enters this tchum while seeking a private area, once he enters the tchum, he said once you're already there, you can walk. He's looking because he's forced to go. He needs to go to the bathroom, so he's forced to go. So if he's smart, he enters the tchum. Once he enters the tchum, he's free to go. Like we learned that if someone was removed from his tchum forcibly, right, and he was returning forcibly, he's allowed to go freely, right?
Yeah.
So he's returning forcibly because he needed to go to the bathroom. That's like being smart about it. If fruits were taken out of the tchum area to which they are legally restricted and were then returned, afilu b'mezid, even if they were taken, fruits were taken from the tchum, even deliberately. Lo yifsidus mekom, they have not lost their original tchum area. They may again be carried throughout their original tchum area. My time. What is the reason why are fruits treated differently from a person who deliberately leaves his tchum area and then returns, who is restricted to his foramis? The Gemara says, Anu simninu, because the fruits themselves were forced from and returned to the tchum, since they are powerless to move on their own. The status is like that of the person who was removed and then returned against his will to his tchum area, where he gains its use.
So how did the fruit? Okay, I mean, I know the scenario has a little bit. I need to work on the scenario. Okay, how did the fruit get out of the tchum? I don't understand.
Somebody took them out.
Okay, so there's then you can go and get them and bring them back.
And then somebody brought them back.
Somebody else brought them back.
Can I eat those foods now or not?
And here it says mutter.
Why mutter?
Because they were forced to return.
Yeah, they didn't do it on their own.
Right.
It wasn't willingly the fruit walked.
Yeah, the fruits don't walk. Okay.
So Amar Rav Yosef Bar Shmuel Rav Papa, Rav Nechem Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov אמרו לו אלו מסורים. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov and Rabbi Nehemiah both say that it's prohibited. You should not eat those foods. Foods were taken out of the tchum are always prohibited. They may neither be moved nor eaten, unless they were returned to the tchum area inadvertently. We infer from this, when the fruits were returned inadvertently, yes, they may be used throughout their original area. But if they were returned deliberately, this is not the case, and the fruits are forbidden. This contradicts our Papa's ruling. Tanoi, this is a dispute among Tanoim. The Tanya, it was taught in a Baisa, if fruits were taken out beyond their techum boundary, if they were taken out inadvertently, they may be eaten. But if they were taken out deliberately, they may not be eaten, because the Shabbos was desecrated by bringing them there. So initially we said, Rabbi Nechem and Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said, Oilo Masurin. Fruits were taken out of Tchum are always prohibited. Unless they will return to the Tchum area inadvertently.
But you're out of luck.
Now, b'shegeg ain't. B'mezid, like you said, no. Now, Tanoi, the Gemara said it's actually machlekes Tanoim, a dispute among Tanoim. The Tanya, perush yotzu chutz hatchum b'shegeg yochlu, b'mezid lo yochlu. If it went out of the tchum b'shegeg, They can be eaten, but it should not be eaten, because the Shabbos was desecrated by bringing them there. Okay, we'll stop here.
All right, so we'll figure out what time we want.
Figure out what time we'll learn tomorrow.
So I figure 4:30 or 5 or something. Whatever, you tell me what's good.
One of the best thing if you come, because I have to learn it twice.
Maybe I could.